Once upon a time, far away, in a lush, green jungle, a magnificent lion reigned as the king of the forest. He was big, he was strong, and on this particular day, he was very, very sleepy after a delicious, hearty lunch. The mighty lion stretched out beneath the cool shade of a giant, ancient tree and drifted off into a deep, peaceful nap. Just then, a tiny, energetic little mouse scurried by, his whiskers twitching with curiosity. The mouse saw the giant's sleeping figure of the lion and thought it looked like the most wonderful jungle gym he had ever seen. What an adventure! Without a second thought, he started his game. Up and down the lion's broad, golden back the little mouse ran, and then, with a joyful squeak, he slid all the way down his long, bushy tail. Whee! What fun! But the tiny tickles of the mouse's little feet began to bother the sleeping giant. With a mighty earth-shaking roar, the lion woke up, and he was very, very grumpy. His eyes snapped open, and in an instant he snatched the little mouse in his enormous, powerful paw. The poor mouse shivered, looking up at the lion's massive, angry face. "How dare you wake the king?" the lion roared, his voice echoing through the jungle. He opened his enormous mouth, filled with sharp teeth, ready to swallow the tiny creature in a single gulp. "Oh, mighty king, please spare me," squeaked the mouse, his whole body trembling with fear. "I am so sorry. I did not mean to wake you from your royal slumber. If you show me mercy, I promise I will never, ever forget your kindness. Who knows, maybe one day I, a humble mouse, can even help the mighty king of the jungle." The lion paused. Help him? A tiny little mouse helping the strongest, most powerful animal in the entire forest. The very thought made the lion's deep roar soften into a rumbling chuckle. He found the mouse's bravery rather amusing, and since he wasn't hungry anymore, he decided to be kind. "Go on then, little mouse," the lion rumbled, a smile playing on his lips. He lifted his gigantic paw and let the grateful mouse run free. The mouse didn't need to be told twice. He scampered away as fast as his little legs could carry him, so thankful to be alive. A few days passed. The lion was walking proudly through his kingdom, his head held high, when he stepped right into a trap. It was a strong, heavy net set by hunters, and it pulled him right off his feet, hoisting him into the air. The more the mighty lion struggled and thrashed, the tighter the thick ropes of the net held him. Roar! The lion roared with all his might, a sound of desperation and fear. He called for help, but the net was too strong. He was completely trapped. The sound of the king's desperate cries carried far and wide through the forest. All the animals heard it and hid in fear, all except for one. The little mouse, whose life the lion had spared, heard the roar and recognized it instantly. "That is the king's voice. He's in trouble," thought the mouse. "He showed me kindness, and I made a promise. Now I must help him." Without hesitation, the mouse scurried as fast as he could through the tangled undergrowth, following the sound of the roars until he reached the clearing. There, he saw the heartbreaking sight of the great lion, trapped and helpless in the hunter's net. "Don't worry, "My king," squeaked the mouse, his voice full of courage. "I will free you." The lion looked down sadly at the tiny creature. "How can this tiny mouse possibly help me?" he thought, his heart sinking with despair. But the mouse did not waste a single moment. He climbed nimbly onto the thick, heavy ropes and immediately started to chew. His tiny but incredibly sharp teeth worked with surprising speed. He gnawed and nibbled at the strong cords, one by one. Snip, snap, pop. Piece by piece, the rope began to fray and break under the mouse's relentless work. He chewed and chewed, his jaw aching, but he didn't stop. Finally, with one last, mighty tug from the lion, the final rope snapped, and the great king of the jungle tumbled to the ground. Free at last, the lion stood up, shaking himself free from the last of the ropes. He looked at the tiny mouse, not with amusement, but with deep gratitude and respect. "Little friend," the lion sighed, his voice soft and full of wonder, "you saved my life. I was so foolish to believe that size was all that mattered. You have shown me that courage and kindness are the greatest strengths of all. You are the bravest friend I have ever known." Just at that moment, the hunters returned, pushing a large cart, ready to capture their prize. They stopped dead in their tracks, their eyes wide with disbelief. There stood the great lion, completely free, with his tiny friend, the mouse, riding happily and proudly on his back. The lion took a deep breath and let out one massive, terrifying roar. The sound was so powerful it shook the very leaves on the trees and sent the startled hunters running for their lives, scrambling far away back to their village, never to return. And from that day forward, the mighty lion and the tiny mouse remained the best of friends. They ruled the jungle together, a constant reminder to all the other animals that kindness is a gift that always repays itself, and that true friendship can come in the most unexpected and wonderful sizes. Thank you so much for joining us for this wonderful story. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more classic fables and adventures. See you next time.